bird on a tree. Hi, Caleb here, and today we're going to be hiking the Brown Springs Cemetery in Thackerville, Oklahoma. Hope you guys enjoy. Okay, so this is the dirt road to how we get to Brown Springs. Now, Brown Springs and the Brown Springs Cemetery is one of the places that scared me the most the first time I went there. So I had to talk someone else to go with me because I was too nervous to go back alone. Yeah, it's a really pretty road, especially in early spring. All of the trees will come basically over it. I mean, they're kind of over it right now, but so we turn off right here. And there's parking. Now, I'm pretty sure right here's a lover's lane because there were quite a few adult products littered the ground right there. But I actually saw an arrow, decided to pick it up just because, free arrow. Yeah. So, Brown Springs is located in a low, almost airless area on the south and east side of Thackerville, Oklahoma, in Love Country. And if you're traveling on I-35 between Oklahoma City and Dallas, you would exit 1 mile marker, which is about 4 miles south of Thackerville, at the Chickasaw Smoke Shop. Then turn south, and then a person would travel a few hundred more feet, and then the concrete road ends into the dirt road we were just on. And then it's exactly 1 mile south from the smoke shop. And that smoke shop in the shop is SHOPPE for some reason. I was pointing out where I found the arrow. And that is the spring. Yeah. The vegetation is obviously very thick, as you can see. And it covers the roadside. The area there almost seems to be no way out except for the way you came in. Yeah, so the cemetery is on the north side of the road up the hill, and we parked on the south side of the road by the spring. And the lagoon actually empties to a few feet south into the Red River, which separates Oklahoma and Texas. That's why Oklahoma has that weird bottom shape on the end of the bottom of the state. Yeah, so it's not a very far walk once you get to the cemetery. It's just up this hill, and there's no signs or anything. You kind of just start stumbling across tombstones. Now, I had trouble finding the exact records of all of the bodies that have been found in the springs. Now, most of them are supposed to be either mob drops or even a serial killer. I'm pretty sure it was Henry Lee Lucas, claimed to have dropped 3 bodies in the lagoon. Over the last couple decades, bodies have been discovered in the springs. The people met violent deaths in Dallas and brought to their final resting place in Brown Springs. Several were found in 1970s, and then one in 1998, and the last one found was a woman from Gainesville, Texas, in 1997, and she was found in the springs on top of her car. And we are seeing a couple of the tombstones. Now, basically, nature is kind of just taken over. So it's hard to see exactly what, you'll just be walking in, these stones are actually tombstones, but people have either knocked them down or nature has just taken over them. Now you may see a couple of coins left on the headstones. Now, usually, the deceased soldier's family, or it's to let the deceased soldier's family know that someone stopped by to leave the respects. Leaving a penny means you visited. A nickel means that you and the deceased soldier trained at boot camp. And then if you served with a soldier, you leave a dime. Now, I don't know if these people were all soldiers, but there were coins on almost all of them. Most of them were pennies. So basically just saying, hey, I visited. Now, Brown Springs Cemetery is also supposed to be home to plenty of ghosts, Dogman, and the infamous Bigfoot. Now, the reason why this place scared me is while I was in the area observing one of my drivers when I worked for an environmental lab, we stopped for lunch and I decided to take my camera up the hill, and my coworker said he didn't have the right shoes to walk up here, but obviously you can see that I'm wearing just normal tennis shoes, and he was wearing normal tennis shoes, so I think that he was just scared. But I decided to take my camera up and get some pictures. I felt the stale air when I saw the first tombstone, and I started to take pictures while I was up there. I felt like I had been up there for about 45 minutes, and our lunches were only an hour, so I decided to start back down. When I tried to check the time on my phone had died. So I started walking down the hill and started to get hit with that fight or flight instinct. So I stopped and decided to turn around to see if I saw anything, because, you know, there are animals that live out here. And I didn't see anything out of the normal or out of the ordinary. But the feeling of being watched was becoming almost unbearable, to where I was had such a tightness in my chest that I felt like I needed to start running. So I quickly got back to the car and found out that I'd only been gone for 15 minutes, and then I plugged my phone in to charge it because it had died, and it ended up coming on instantly and being at about 75%, which we decided to end our lunch and get out of there at that point. Yeah. I find it wasn't as scary this time when I went. I assume it's because I was with someone. But if you decide to come here, just know that that is a possibility. And then if you come back as far as we've been right now, there are thorns. This part almost looked like there was a building at one point. It's either this part or another part. I am having trouble. I was looking down reading off my phone. But, yeah. Also watch for snakes, especially in the fall. When it gets to where, especially in Oklahoma, where you're having warm days and cold days, sometimes on the warm days, snakes will come out since they're cold-blooded and they need to lay out in the sun to, gain heat into their body. They'll come out and lay in the sun, and obviously you won't be expecting them. And so just watch for that. Watch for poison ivy. Didn't see either, but I decided to stick my camera down in this hole because it looked weird. It ended up being nothing, but yeah. So I decided for this one to be the last October one just because it's the place that truly scared me. All the other places were, they're kind of spooky, and the stories are spooky, but I didn't really experience anything there. But yeah. I hope you guys have had a good time watching, and happy Halloween, because this should be coming out on Halloween. And yeah, I will turn on some music and let you guys finish watching.
It's clear to see from up here, the world seems small. We can sit together. It's so beautiful, you and me. We meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free.
was the Brown Springs Cemetery in Thackerville, Oklahoma. Hope you guys have enjoyed all of our spooky October hikes, and I just wanted to say happy Halloween, and I'll see you guys next week when we go back to our normal hikes. Okay, if you push this circle right here, you'll subscribe to my channel, and if you push this one right here, it'll take you to the previous hike, and then this one right here will take you to the full playlist of all the Oklahoma hikes.